Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me warmly welcome all of you to the info session of the second edition of CPM Management Leadership Excellence Awards 2026, organized by CPM Sri Lanka. So, to this info session, we are planning to give the overview of this Management Leadership Excellence Awards and take you through sort of a guidance how to do a proper reporting and sort of other nitty-gritties. So, with that introduction, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite the chairman of panel of judges of CPM Management Leadership Excellence Awards 2026, Dr. Samantha Ratnayaka, to give the overview of these awards.
Thank you, Dilshan Asjot, the CEO of CPM Sri Lanka. So, with the objective of honoring management excellence, building tomorrow's leaders, CPM Sri Lanka has come up with the second edition in 2026. So, while thanking the organizing committee for this wonderful information session, so even though we are meeting you virtually, it's my pleasure to take you through some of the critical nitty-gritties and the salient points, and if there are any questions, we can have a idea exchange at the end. So I will cover the predominant part, and subsequently CEOs will join to get you and take you through into the other aspects, particularly the compliance, report submission, and those line out. Well, as you know, as a professional body, it's a growing, progressive, upward, developmental, progressive organization. The Chartered Professional Managers of Sri Lanka. So, what is our task? On one hand, we are bringing to the country promoting best management practices. That's our one of the core national level drives. So, while having that, it has been realized that there's a dire requirement to recognize the executor, the navigator, the person who is engaging in this process. That is the respective managerial leader. So if we dissect this, it's not time to look at who is a leader, who is a manager. But when you are looking at this managerial leadership, this is the time for us. So that is where Management Leadership Excellence Awards Edition 2 is coming up. So to get into the subject straight away, so this clear demarcation of our standing out Management Leadership Excellence Awards year from CPM Sri Lanka. So we proudly present this salient and the premier emerging leadership award in the country. Well, as you know that it is not just distinct selection based on overall picture or gut feeling or some ABC criteria. So the idea here is that when it comes to the managerial leadership as a core area, so you can see that the competencies, even though this word is differently interpreted, it's a combination, it's broadly the knowledge, skill, attitude aspects. So all three are overarching. That is where demonstrable characteristics are displayed. So in that sense, it has been clearly researched and found it out several key competencies. So what I am going to do first, to take each of these areas, but ladies and gentlemen, there's a distinction. The difference is that each of these areas has been clearly defined and it is backed by key behavioral indicators, which I will take you through. So that means the articulated concept has executional attributes. So that is what in management arena we call, when it comes to performance, key behavioral indicators. Let us take you through one by one. So if we come to the first one, so understanding, demonstrating visionary leadership. So that's our first one out of 7. So if you look at this arena of competency, it's quite easy for you to refer some of the characteristics of a visionary leader, how the leaders are visioning for the future. So that it doesn't mean that all these characteristics are inextricably required. No. The idea is that any of these distinct areas, highlighted areas, might be predominant areas in a character. It's in one of us. So that if you look at that, some of the points, setting clear strategic direction, the transformational impact, looking the leadership itself is all about inspiring others, the future orientation. So that's how the visionary leaders think. Purpose-driven organizations bring in that big why factor into the context. So, these attributes are there within a particular personality, means whether they are managers, next level, irrespective of the level, that is a vision of leadership. So that getting into number two, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at that, one of the key leadership challenges and the requirements is what? Bringing innovation. At the same time, coupled with creativity. So driving, it drives, it actions, it brings to the forefront of leadership the thinking into practice, drive innovation and creativity. So in that sense, so couple of things, how this multi-generation culture is built up, coming up with some breakthrough ideas. Of course, in the current context, bringing technology integration. It is coupled with always risk-taking, with responsibility, of course, some continuous improvement and so on and so forth. So as I said that, ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate, these all factors might be in one basket, might be two, three, might be one, but it doesn't matter. It should be evident in our behavioral aspects. So with that, let us go to the third one. So the third one is that there are leaders. Their competencies are showcasing community service orientation and O. So why we have put that and O? It can be one factor or it is interconnected with corporate social responsibility. So it's not nice to have, it is must have. But at the same time, where is our CSR, community orientation? So where is that leaders thinking towards society, the greater good? So that is supported by always environmental, social, governance initiatives. We predominantly articulate in the context of sustainable, looking at employee involvement, engagement, bringing ethics into the forefront. Of course, social impact, that's what leaders must do, and long-term commitment towards that identify and getting involved. So with that, we are happy to present our fourth one. What about engaging in brand building and achieving marketing business excellence? No businesses, any organization, whether government or private sector, if you do not bring that business drive, that result generating thinking, making it impactful in terms of, may I say, not only volume, value, the rate percentage, but it's all about achieving excellence in what areas? Marketing, business. So why we are highlighting that because it can be a holistic business domain, it can be particularly market sphere. So that is always coupled with brand building. That's a whole job of marketing, customer centric, strategic, innovative campaigns, marketing penetration success, and of course reputation management. So with that, it's time for us to now explore what is number 5. So if you look at this, this is leaders' next agenda. That is enabling, not just able, enabling diversification and growth strategy. So leaders' success story is all about what? Bringing this into the forefront. So ladies and gentlemen, if you look at that, diversification and growth is always coupled with strategic expansion, revenue stream, bringing new channels into the forefront, agile business, because the context is always demanding for new scenarios. That is where agile business models come in picture. What about synergistic investments, getting the business group take into next level engineering job and sustainable growth focus? So those are the characteristics of leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just prematurely reminding you all these features are clearly given in our website. You can have a look at. But here I'm bringing these key factors with regard to the supporting aspects. So we are happily presenting this that because the factor and the criteria in this case. So with that, let's go to our 6th one. So So you can see that the leadership and management looking for the big picture, getting the house in order, exhibiting exemplary management skills. Person should be able to demonstrate people the development, decisiveness, emotional intelligence, one of the course requirements, operational efficiency, and conflict resolution. These are core characteristics of management skills. Those are forefront in the context. And with that, here, the seventh one, so those who are coming under this, that you can see that this inspiring strategic leadership and trend capitalization. So leaders are not only looking for future, they are different. So they are bringing the scenarios into next context. To look at the key attributes. So leaders, they seize, they sense this opportunity recognition. The agility, not just strategic agility, then they know the competitiveness market to scenarios. That's why this capitalization is coming now. What about current context? No data, no business thinking. So data-driven decisions. Vision, alignment, get that configuration and reconfiguration towards the direction and the competitive positioning of their products, companies, solutions, solutions, portfolios, local and international. So you can see that when it comes to these seven areas, and what we are highlighting here, the beauty is that criteria, KPIs. With that, let's get into a little bit the evaluation process. That's the format which you are going to follow. Then it was very successful in last year's the edition one, so that it has been further strengthened our process of the report evaluation. So that is the next review counts 40%, and of course don't forget that the template which will brief in a while, compliance, deadline, rules, and the other instructions that you are supposed to may say you are expected to demonstrate, that is being recognized with 10%. And of course, what about your like core idea? Like as a leader, you want to express something. For that, the recorded video component also has been added, which you can like organize in the way you want, and so you have a holistic vision and some demonstrable characteristics in you, and you want to showcase it. You want to tell the world, here's the opportunity, so that you can populate that video, and finally the judge's decision of 10%. So that's how the evaluation process works. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, even though the details cpmawards.com details available, may I remind you these three levels. So if we look at the top tier, that is where C-suite leadership. Well, the headings per se, may I say it's really chairman, chief executive officer, managing director, general managers, secretaries in government center, ministries, departments, authorities. There are quite a number of state-run organizations, semi-organizations. They are coming out with a lot of leadership qualities under the regulated, under the certain, may I say, not restraining, but certain governing parameters. Of course, they are to recognize. So it's a golden opportunity for corporate sector as well as the state sector to come forward with that contribution, recognition as a leader, as a navigator, as executor. With that, looking at C-suite down, this is where mainly the second tier coming. That is about the executive decision maker leadership. So may I say the acronym per se, quite a number of C, but that C goes as in some companies where the CEO is there, but CFO, CTO, even though we say CTO, it can be Chief Transformation Officer, Chief Technology Officer, so like that HR, marketing, legal, risk, like that. So quite a number of AGMs, DGMs, assistant secretaries, government, particularly government sector, department authorities, even some organizations where the hierarchical position wise, after the first year, this can be delegated the heads of department. It is in some organizations contextually appropriate to look at what level you are in. But what is our future? What is our way forward? So we need to get this leadership inspired for these positions with his, that is where emerging managerial leadership or the managers and senior managers, you are encouraged to apply. Come and test it. Come forward. Give the first day and take that. What should I do? Like I have run a lot of things in my career, in terms of the achievements, in terms of like demonstrating certain areas, but this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. So that's why when we are launching this edition 1, we have a clear, may I say, a thinking line with regard to starting with these two. But it has been observed that this managerial leadership is one of the core areas which is a demand, may I say, substantial demand, and so that we are catering to them. We can see that quite a number is coming from that area as well. So, all in all, this is about future. This is about getting them to the next year, and this is about real articulators at the top level. So this covers generation to come, years to come. We want to contribute to Sri Lanka's development. So ladies and gentlemen, why not take a few minutes to understand what should I do? Like in that sense, here from an institution's point of view, organization point of view, we have made the right basic simple. That is for all categories, one simple format. Shall we have a quick look at of that? So if you look at this template, the area wise, in the details of the website clearly carries all these, but part A, you can see that initial details, what category you are in, one sector cluster. So those sectors are well structured and regulated, and the relevant clusters. So that here, even for the evaluators, there will be any page, so you can see total number of pages, this office use for this compliance. Don't forget 10% for that, and your declaration. So this is about implicit responsibility, accountability, demonstration of what sort of information you are submitting. You are part of that responsibility, so that your date and the signature and your designation appropriate. Now, for example, when it comes to C-suite leadership, about the chairman, there's no probably the next one to sign. No board members might not sign. So then, like a board member, go company secretary, go someone that equal tier can endorse the application. So that is where the numbers that open endorse is given. So that's where part B. So with that, may I take your permission to go to part B? Now let's come to the category. So you can see that this one, the numbering here, a brief profile of the applicant. So ladies and gentlemen, don't forget you have total 5 marks. So you don't need to write a lot. You don't need to write on 5-6 pages. So that you make it very brief. Make it very brief. So make based on your articulation, based on your narration, you can see that the judges have 3 categories to mark their marking. And the important thing is, in the journey now, number 2 invites you to reflect, pause, reflect, and see during last message. 1 to 5 year period, what are the scenario? Like, what are the key challenges you have gone through? What situations emerge? What are the kind of face conditions? And then, so that context is very important for a leader to emerge at the managerial, executive, or senior C-suite level. So that is where please describe the key challenges or situations and speaking now. Provide a brief comparison with the previous period to illustrate the context. So, before such and such, post like an identity, before COVID, after that, or before 23, or 24, or 25, like that. So, you can take that goal, make it a brief note that counts 20%. That is where the marking comes. Now, here, with regard to the managerial leadership approach, we have 7 competencies clearly given, and we need to just to pick which one you want to touch. So, Might be one is thinking that all seven are appropriate to you. If you have such a dilemma or conundrum, but you should, may say friends, here, go to the KPIs, have a look at what are the key attributes that I have demonstrated. Is it in number 5 or 6? So am I appealing more visionary leadership or may I like have demonstrated more managerial skills? That you can look at. So based on that, please explain, justify, and rate as per the relevant characteristics. So that means those characteristics guide you to get your frame done, so that your configuration can be done quite easily based on those. That's why KPIs have been clearly given, which has very positive acceptance even last year, and most of the last year the applicants also have endorsed the fact that KPIs are quite easy for you to get that selected area to further write with the relevant characteristics. Alright, so with that, I think we are coming to an interesting point. That's number 4. The leader's success effectiveness is all about how to bring results, how to bring that impact. Impact of managerial leadership on organizational performance. Provide minimum 3 pieces of advice like initiatives, outputs, outcomes, results, highlights. So for that matter, that is you can see that your 60 marks come for that. So if I go to this page, you can understand that. So that's why we have clearly given 3 slots for you to write evidence 1, 2, 3. And then, so you need to, what does go to do? So you can say that leaders take a lot of initiatives. So you have numerical value-based jump from this person to this person, mark will develop from 5% to 20%. Like your outcomes, qualitative, your effectiveness, efficiency, your the sustainability, satisfaction, market dominance, resistance, coming out with the bounce back, and getting the new era of the transformation. That is your outcome, and the that can come in the form of some results of scenario A versus B versus C, or some of the key highlights during the last 4 years or 5 years or 3 years rather. So that is where clearly present 3 pieces of evidence and reiterated the same, reading it again indicates how your leadership has contributed to get the business sustaining and growing. So look at this word. So we are sometimes puzzling it up, mixing it up, this sustainable and sustaining. Sustaining means there can be shocks, there can be ups and downs, fluctuations, but leaders hang on. They hold the numbers, they keep the base, they run the show. So sustaining means with ups and downs, but growth momentum has been continuing. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, now we come to number 5. So number 5 is where for you, you have been awarded multiple funds, a number of other credentials there in the market, the industries, so organizations, country, the government and the private sector, they have recognized you. So that is where providing the overall performance indicators as growth, market, volume, share, profitability, etc., or any other noteworthy elements. Other than noteworthy elements, look at this letter. There are nominations, awards, public recognition, letter of recognition, couple of evidences you can give that has also 5 marks. Well, so that is what the template. Now, with that, I think the best way to get that understanding of with this template report. Ladies and gentlemen, I can join back in the this general guidelines, but I know now you have been listening to me at a pace now. I think this time to get the secretary in charge, the secretariat in charge, the CEO of CPM Sri Lanka, Mr. Nishan, like on screen.
Thank you, Salanta. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we clearly stated and we have given those details, but let me quick reinforce these general guidelines. The first one is the report. So, we have given the template, so we request you to adhere with the template because as Dr. Ratnak explained, so we are giving sort of weightage to the marking, the assessment, the 10%. how we are going to adhere in the given comments and the templates. So the report length also we are quite cautious because judges are very keen with these factors. The 500 to 1000 word within that limit you need to write, and the you need to get it done in the PDF format, and reports not adhering to the templates, given template will be rejected. The number four is video presentation. So in this scenario, we have not given any specific the template for the format because we are encouraging AI tools to use the, so your life is quite easy. Therefore, you can bring the same story what you have written in the template into the presentation, 10 minutes presentation. Then when you go to the report format, we have clearly defined what the font sizes and how the text you need to the format it. Then number four, the endorsement. This is also quite vital because to increase keep the reliability of your report. So we are expecting the endorsement or the approval of your report from a particular company authority. Then entrepreneurs, if they are having any sort of trouble to get endorse their report themselves, then we encourage they or qualified the lawyer can be certified. Then the language, to keep the level playing field, we request all of you to write to a template as well as the video presentation, do it in English medium. Then the sixth, the recognition. So we have, we are not going to recognize reports below 49% or below the reports will not be recognized, but the reports between 50 to 60 will be given the certificate of recognition, and 61 or more, but those who were not qualified any titles will be given the merit recognition. Then the application fee, this is for the administration matters, we mentioned clearly the application fee in case of any rejection. So the judges are not going to recognize your report, the application fee is not refundable. And the report submission also now we have quite supportive and sophisticated the website. You can simply refer www.cpmawards.com website, and two documents you need. The one is the report with the PDF format, and the video you need to submit to the portal. To keep our life easy, so we request you to be given sort of the examples how you need to rename your report and the video and to get one specific format, and you can I can refer the site that uploaded you upload through the portal, then it will be recorded your timing and everything. But in the event if you need any assistance for this task, please contact our coordinators, so we will give our assistance for that. Then we have clearly mentioned the important deadline, especially the 3rd August. I'm repeating, the 3rd August is the submission reporting the deadline. So therefore, please make sure to submit your report and the video presentation on before 3rd August. Technically, we say 11:59 p.m. On 3rd August, the system will be, then after that, the system will be restricted. Therefore, we encourage you, don't wait till last minute, try to make it a couple of hours before. Then the final presentations, the overall, to say overall winners, we will have the online presentation on 20th of August, and announcement of winners 25th, and the registration of registration for host night, and on the host night we are going to have 15th of August. And so we request, so we are going to recognize your management leadership story in a big way at Monarch Imperials, which are recorded on 15 September, 5:30 p.m. onwards. So we will invite you to come and celebrate your recognition. So in addition to that, you know that we are going to recognize your story We are awarding the plaque, the certificate, and the digital badge, and also your story will be there in our specialized target manager journal, dedicated for your stories. So this is the first edition book which you can read the e-version available at our dedicated website www.cpmawards.com, and so those are the things. So let me invite and encourage all of you to join with this one of the best forum who can recognize your management excellence, and this is backed by the 7 leadership competencies at KBI. That is the most important thing. This is the base of this award. I'm repeating it. This is backed by the 7 leadership competencies and KPIs.